Postseason Live, presented by Blue Cross Blue Shield of Illinois.
High fly ball into left, at the wall, goodbye. 6-0 Indians.
And it did not go well in Game 1 of the 2016 World Series. Cubs pounded by the Indians late, and the final is 6-0. 2 home runs for Perez, and the Cubs fall to Corey Kluber, who was very, very good. Their bullpen gets the job done. Again, 6-0 the final. And welcome into Cubs Postseason Live alongside the Hall of Famer Ryne Sandberg and Todd Hollandsworth. I'm David Kaplan. Cubs struggled tonight. John Lester not sharp. In fact, the first inning, a couple of walks, a 20-foot hit, and a hit by pitch, and all of a sudden you're 2 runs in the hole, and that was the ball game, boys.
That wasn't typical John Lester right there early on. Really looked like he struggled getting ahead of hitters and throwing strikes. And I learned a long time ago when you walk multiple guys in an inning, somehow those guys seem to
come back
score.
to haunt you.
Whether it's a swinging bunt, a hit by pitch, so it came back to haunt him right there. They got their early lead with their ace on the mound, and Kluber was outstanding. And so, along with Miller, pretty much summed it up right there. They scored in the middle with the home run. They scored late, so the Tribe kind of had a recipe for them for a W tonight.
Yeah, when it comes down to how the Indians are going to win this series, if they win it, they win tonight. I mean, it's very specific how they have to win. They have to score early. Their pitching has to hold up, but the idea is to get the ball to their bullpen, to Andrew Miller in particular, and that's really what they did tonight.
He was not great tonight.
No, he wasn't. But again, when you come into the series, the idea is, what do we have to do to win a baseball game? Terry Francona's talked about this. They have certain guys that can help them obviously win, like Corey Kluber going tonight. They have some deficiencies in this rotation by definition. They don't have the deepest bullpen, and they're not the best offensive team, and they've had some struggles this postseason, as the 192 batting average outside of Lindor tells you coming into this ballgame. But what they've done, they've gotten early leads, and they've turned that ball over to the bullpen rather early. So when you look at this one, you say, yeah, Kluber was outstanding in this ballgame, no doubt about it. But when you get the ball to Miller with a lead, that's the idea. That's their formula. And when you see that, it has not lost for them yet this postseason.
All right, we'd like you to get interactive with our show. Just go to csnchicago.com/vote. No special app, no cost to you. We'll have questions coming up for you during our post-game show. We'll carry Joe Madden in its entirety as soon as he is ready to meet the media, and that should be in just a few moments. So as soon as Joe comes in to the press room, we'll have him for you. Let's talk about Corey Kluber. While Miller wasn't as sharp as we saw him in the ALCS, I think he threw almost 50 pitches. Corey Kluber was outstanding.
He was outstanding, and evident to that was at least one time through the Cubs lineup, there was so many non-swings, and even the second time through. I think he had a moving fastball. He was throwing it at the hip of the left-handed hitter who was coming over the middle. He was starting it outside to right-handed hitters coming back over the corner with no swings at it, and then he had his slider along with that, which was a pitch that he threw to guys that either had 2 strikes on them or guys that are fastball hitters. So he had it working with the 2 pitches. He mixed it well. He elevated when he wanted to, and the Cubs didn't threaten him too much. So he kind of had a nice, smooth sailing.
Corey Kluber was outstanding. I thought he took advantage of a strike zone that was hard to figure out, I think, early in this ball game. The bottom line is, sometimes umpires will play off the emotion of the crowd. I felt like a lot of that went on in this ball game. There were some borderline pitches that went his way. I'm not convinced they went John Lester's way early in this one. But he made pitches, and he hung around the plate, and that's always the key, Rhino. I mean, as you know, when you're making pitches, and if you just miss off, but you get right back to that spot again, a lot of times umpires will start giving you those calls again, where I felt like John Lester made some borderline pitches, but then he ended up off those outside corners. So when he got back to it, he wasn't getting those calls, and it felt like it was, kind of tilted one way and not the other. But I think that's really the reason, is that Lester didn't throw enough good strikes where Kluber did, and I think it benefited him as he started getting a few more calls as the outing went on.
Yeah, the Cubs had a couple of opportunities in this ball game, but that first inning for John Lester was really where I thought he had some troubles. He hit a guy with the bases loaded. He gave up a 20-foot swinging bunt with the bases loaded. Yep. He walked a couple of guys. Early when he walked, I think Napoli, it's like, all right, you pitched around Napoli. He has the most success against him. But he just never got into a rhythm.
Yeah, he really did. He kind of struggled with, where his command was at, and I think Rhino makes a good point, and I think it's from his managerial experience that he knows this and feels it. When you put guys on base for free at the big league level, you end up paying the price. It's almost a guarantee, Cap. If you're going to put guys on from a walk, there's going to be a hit, and it might be a 30-footer, which it was, that showed up on, here that gets the, draws first blood, but it's how it goes at this level. You just cannot give extra outs or extra base runners to an offense, good, bad, indifferent, no matter where they're at, and not expect at some point getting burned by it. And I think that was classically right there in that first inning. I kind of felt like John was kind of maybe working to his guy that he wanted to get out, and then all of a sudden the swinging bunt showed up, and there you go. It's as simple as that.
There were also good things you could take away from this game. And people will go, what are you, crazy? It's 6-0 game. Kyle Schwarber nearly took one out. He hit it off the wall.
Yeah,
drew a walk and reached base. Ben Zobrist had a couple of knocks tonight. Javi Baez had a couple of knocks tonight. So there were a few things. The Schwarber thing for me is a huge takeaway.
That's a huge takeaway. He looked, I drove the ball out there, but he's got a game under his belt. I think that'll help him going forward if he's in the lineup, when he's in the lineup. And so just seeing pitches under the lights, being here under this atmosphere will help him. But, the Cubs had the chance with the bases loaded, and they happened to have Miller in at the time, and he came in, did not look as sharp, pitched behind a little bit, but came out ahead, and that was the big chance. If we could have just broken the ice there, maybe just put a 1 up there, just to get on the board, that would have felt better than leaving them stranded.
I think that's the biggest mountain for me. I was thrilled to see Schwarber back, and having the impact the way that he did in the ball game. That's pretty amazing what he pulled off tonight, turning Kluber around just like that. But to me, when you look at what this series means moving forward, and then you look at what Andrew Miller represented coming into this game, which I think is on historical proportions like Mount Everest. The Cubs knocked him down a few pegs, and I think that's important to acknowledge in this one. 47 pitches, 2 innings, 2 walks. All sorts of traffic out there. Yeah, they had some opportunities. They didn't come through. Addy Russell's at bat. He got a whole bunch of sliders right there, ended up chasing out of the zone. It's what Miller will do, but I felt like they did a good job of getting his pitch count up and making him work. You're going to see a lot more of him.
Who would have thought that Roberto Perez, first Puerto Rican player ever to have a multi-home run game in a World Series, who would have thought he'd be the guy that would beat you tonight? He was outstanding.
He was. He swung the big bat, and the ball was jumping off his bat. He was up there making something happen, and got a couple pitches to drive and make the most out of it. One other takeaway that I might mention is, the young players that the Cubs have. They got some of the hoopla of the World Series in my book.
The curse is real. It's real.
I remember my first beer
that's
too.
Right. But anyway, the young players, I think they got some of the pregame hoopla out of the way. Get back to normal business tomorrow, I would think, and so I think that's good for the young players that experienced this first game. Got it
Absolutely.
under their belt.
Yeah, it's great. Well, aren't the lights brighter? That's the one thing that I always felt in the postseason was they turn on the same way, but they seem like they're just a little bit brighter. You got to get rid of those nerves. They are a little bit bigger.
It's the biggest stage that there is.
Yeah, it's a good point.
Joe Madden is getting ready. Here we go. Joe Madden brought to you by Xfinity. Take a listen.
Talked before the game about how your team would come out, and that part of it seemed okay. I guess it's one of those nights where you tip your hat to the other guy, and what was he doing besides throwing out of quality strikes out there?
He's good. He gets such great movement both directions with his cutter and then his comebacker, and he was hitting his edges. He pitched well. You got to give him a lot of credit. He pitched well. I liked our bats overall against Miller. I liked the fact we got him up to 50 pitches also. So there was a lot of positives with that. We struck out a lot. But I'll defend the fact we did have some good at-bats. We had opportunities. We were unable to obviously get the big hit, knock the run in. But saw a lot of pitches tonight. Kluber was outstanding, but I thought we did a good job against Miller.
And over here in the right front.
Hey, buddy.
Hey, the Bryant and Rizzo against the Dodgers in your 2 shutouts, they were pretty much cuffed. I think they were 3 for 14.
Right.
Tonight, I think 0 for 7. Is that a result of a couple of Cy Young Award pitchers. And, once you guys get going against the rest of the staff and they get going, you seem to produce.
No, I want to believe I know we're going to be fine. You're right. They pitched really, really well tonight. Kluber was outstanding. Up and down the lineup. Overall, I saw a lot of good things among a lot of our hitters tonight. How about Zobrist? Great night. How about Schwarber? Having not played all year, had some really good at-bats. I thought Hobby had some good at-bats. Contreras coming off the bench was fine. David Ross worked good at-bats. I mean, I'm not disappointed by any means, except for the fact we did not win. I thought we came out ready to play. They pitched well. That first inning hurt, the walks, not even the dribbler or the hit batter. It was about the walks prior to that really hurt us. And then their 9-hole hitter, Perez, kicked us, man. That was 4. He drove in 4 points today, so give him a lot of credit. But overall, I was not disappointed. I know we had 15 punch-outs. I get it. But the quality of the at-bats were not that bad.
And over here again to the right.
Joe, in the 7th inning, when you let David Ross bat against Miller, did you just like the matchup there for Ross as opposed to maybe Almora or Soler?
Yeah, I really thought there was 2 things. I thought David could hit him or David would accept his walk more than the other guys. And as it turned out, he got called out on a check swing. That could have been ball 4. David works good at bats in that moment. So I felt good about him, actually. I felt better about him. He's been in the game against Miller. Miller has struck out a lot of people over the last several times he's been out there. I think with Soler coming off the bench or Albert, they had less of a chance than David. Because I thought there was the two-fold opportunity either to get the hit or draw the walk.
And over here to the left, Richard.
Joe, would you talk about letting Schwarber face Miller twice and how you thought he battled him there?
Great. I mean, he accepted the walk the first time up. That was outstanding. That's when Miller still was kind of frisky. The second time up, he's kind of on fumes, and he battled through and just pretty much missed a hanging slider there at the very end. So I thought he got 2 really good at-bats versus him today. I thought the bat speed looked good. You could see on the finish sometimes maybe the brace grabs him just a little bit. I think I kind of noticed that. Otherwise, there was no kind of negative atmosphere surrounding his at-bats. I thought they were outstanding, actually.
And again, over here to the left, Allison.
Joe, kind of an unusual move that the game time was moved to 7 o'clock tomorrow because of rain coming. Does that have any effect on you? Do you remember anything like that ever happening?
I've not remembered that, but I think it's a great idea. If in fact that's what's going to happen. We went out for that pitching change, and Rizzo said, hey, look at the scoreboard. The game's been moved up an hour. So that's when I realized it had been moved up an hour on the mound. No, I mean, if we're going to be with technology as it is and you have good weather reports, I'd rather do that than have the game start at 8 o'clock and then get caught in the latter part of the game with some rain. So I think it's a good idea.
And over here to the far right against the wall.
Joe, not that you'd be worried about your team after one game, but the fact that you had the trail 2-1 in the last series and the way your team responded to that, does that give you confidence going here after losing game 1? Yeah, listen, I'm not upset whatsoever. Like I said, they pitched really well tonight. Johnny wasn't on top of his game, but really gave us a chance to win. That first inning, like I said, was unfortunate. If it gets to those 3 runs in the last inning make it look really awful. That's 6. I mean, Ronnie just hangs a slider and the guy hits a home run. Otherwise, it's kind of tightly contested, and who knows what happens in that last inning. I don't know. The 6 runs makes it look more lopsided. But I have no concerns. I thought we were ready to play. Our guys looked really good. They were great in the dugout today. It's the first game. I'm fine. We're fine.
And against the wall again on the right, Joel.
Joe, did anything in the game today inform you about does Schwarber start tomorrow, and do you think he can handle anything in Wrigley more than pinch hitting?
What I saw today is that he absolutely will start tomorrow. I didn't even realize this, but before the game, we were talking about can he play at Wrigley, and Peter Chase corrected me. He has not been cleared to play a defense yet, so we'll have to wait and see. If that's a doctor's call. So he definitely passed the eye test for me regarding swinging the bat at the plate. So, and I kind of alluded to that also, that let's just keep an open mind about it. But I will have nothing to say with that. That will be called from the medical staff.
And again in the back to the right.
Yes, sir.
Joe, talking about feeling good about the at-bats and just feeling good going forward, is part of that just knowing they don't have another Kluber, that he pitched well tonight, but if you keep doing these at-bats, maybe things will happen?
Yeah, I have so much confidence and trust in our guys. Listen, I've seen Kluber before. That does not surprise anybody that's seen him before. I know Bauer. UCLA kid. I know he's got a really good arm also. I've seen, is it Tomlin? After that, I've seen all these guys from the American League, and they're good. The guy tonight's, like you said, he's in a different league. So if we can continue to work these same kind of at-bats, I feel good moving forward. And that's not to denigrate anybody we're going to face. I just thought we actually did better than that all looked tonight. So I'm eager to get back out there and play again tomorrow.
And a last one for Joe. Okay,
Fair.
once again, down here in front. Period.
Just to follow up, when teams shut down Bryant and Riz, what do they do? How did they attack them?
Well, I can't tell you that specifically now. Otherwise, we'd have to get. For me, primarily, I think KB chased some pitches out of the zone today. But again, that Kluber does that to a lot of folks. And with Anthony, he fouled his pitch back a couple times. And he, again, when I talked to him on the mound during the pitching changes, he was very upset with himself because he's seeing the ball really well right now. And when your hitters tell you they're seeing the ball well, you can take some solace in that too. So our guys are good. They'll be ready to play tomorrow. I like the idea of the game being moved up, just if it's going to take the weather out of it. So that's all good stuff. But I'm pleased with our guys.
Okay, thank you, Joe.
You got it. Thanks.
Terry Francona is.
Yeah. All right, time for the Ameristar Casino Resort Hotel pitching recap. And it was Corey Kluber against John Lester. Corey Kluber was just a little bit better tonight. In fact, a whole lot better. He was sharp. John was sloppy tonight.
He was not his best game, but it's something to build off of. I mean, I look at Lester start and think if we had a little bit of offense to go with it, it may not have ended the way that it did. 97 pitches over 5 2/3 innings. Sure, there were some walks in there. Certainly saw some frustration from John out there on the mound as well tonight. It wasn't the running game that everybody talked about and the 134 stolen bases playing into the night, and they were going to run all over the place as I thought it was going to be. If they beat him, it's because they beat him, and they put together better at bats. Kluber, my goodness gracious. I honestly, and I was asking you, Rhino, were you surprised that Kluber came out of the game when he did at 88 pitches after 6 innings?
And just one man on.
And one man on. I was a little bit surprised. It felt slightly desperate because the way I look at this series, they can't lose Kluber starts. And if you got Kluber out there and he's cooking at 88 pitches and you go to Miller, if Miller gets hurt, which he started to get hurt, I thought, boy, oh boy, this could end up burning him.
I agree with that. Kluber was dominant. He was heading the count. Like I said, a lot of no swing strikes, not putting the ball in play. The hitters getting behind in the count. But going to Miller there, and what do you throw, about 46, 48 pitches? That's something that'll possibly take the toll.
Tito Francona's got to be going, boy, maybe I should have extended Corey a little bit longer, because I don't know if he'll have Miller tomorrow at that number of pitches.
Well, exactly. And in that inning, I mean, with the bases loaded, if we'd just put one up there, might have put some pressure on a little bit, put the ball in play, we could have scored a run. Right. So that was a little bit, that was disappointing right there. But the Cubs went to their bullpen. Was a 3-run home run off of Grimm by Perez. Overall, the Cubs struggled tonight, and when you don't score runs, things get a little bit tougher for the pitching staff.
And they look bad. All right, let's go back to the locker room. Here is David Ross.
To win the first game of the World Series tends to win it all.
Okay. No, I mean, we got to play. We obviously we wanted to win this game, and came up short. And that's a good team over there. And Corey Kluber was on, had his good stuff tonight, and tough pitcher. And we'll pick our heads up and come back tomorrow and go back to work.
David, was there any issue with the strike zone from your standpoint?
I can't answer those things.
David, talk about John's performance.
John did all right. Yeah, after that first inning, swing and bunt, 2 walks, just couldn't find his sinker early on, didn't find that till later on in the game, and that swing and bunt is really what hurt us, and then just pulled a cutter 0-2. But other than that, pitched well. The one fastball, probably a bad pitch call by me to the catcher, just didn't quite get it in there a little bit, and he'd taken some bad swings on the fastball and just caught up to one.
There's no game that's imperative, obviously, until you get to 3. But how important is tomorrow night's game?
We got a lot of confidence in our guys and this whole group, and we've been down before, and this is a resilient group. These guys are a lot of character guys, and I'm happy to be a part of this team. I know we'll come out and have a better showing tomorrow.
Back to that first inning, 2 outs, nobody on, the swinging bunt, but then he goes 3 on the next 2 batters. Did he just start to lose it?
You're going to ask him about that. I don't know. I mean, obviously he walked the guy, so yeah.
And then the hit by pitch was barely.
It was just a pulled cutter. Yeah, just low cutter. I hit him pretty good. I think he hit pretty good. Yeah, I got him pretty good. Yeah, it was pulled in there pretty well.
Do you look at this as just kind of missed opportunities? 9 stranded tonight, and that,
No, I look at it as we faced that their guy made better pitches than our guy did. I mean, that's the bottom line. Their guy was on tonight and never really got a whole lot going off Kluber, and then trying to get their bullpen. And I thought we had some really good at bats. That's where we kind of missed our opportunities. I think late in the game, but. But yeah. I mean, I swung a bad 3-2 pitch, back foot slider that wasn't even close to a strike. So I was proud of our guys, though. I mean, really good at bats, even after being shut out by their starter all night. Really good at bats from against their bullpen. They got some really good guys down there, and I think our lineup continues to grind ABs, and you saw that all the way through the game, and probably put a scare in them for a little bit there. So I hope we can come out and start that a little earlier tomorrow.
David, you mentioned the bullpen, and both the Red Sox and the Blue Jays can attest that when they have a lead going into the 6th inning, they are so hard to get to. Facing Miller.
We almost got to him tonight. Yeah, I thought we had really good at bats. Yeah, I was really proud of our guys, and a lot of confidence can come out of the second half of this game tonight. I think, even though we didn't scratch a run across, I think there's some positives in the game for sure.
do you shake your head at kind of what Kyle Schwarber was able to do tonight?
Yeah, Kyle. I mean, that was really impressive, right? First, we said after the game, we said, congratulations on your first hit of the year, right? So yeah, good for him. Great at bat, especially facing guys like Andrew Miller. Even there went 3-2 late when and missed that slider, but great at bats from our guys all the way through the lineup, and especially proud of Schwartz. Almost wind's not blowing in from right. Him and Wilson probably have home runs. So hopefully tomorrow we'll get a couple more breaks and some balls may go.
All right, so there's David Ross. We'll hear from Anthony Rizzo in just a moment as they get him in the locker room. The Cubs had a couple opportunities today. They didn't get it done with the bases loaded, but I really still take away that Kyle Schwarber turning around Corey Kluber, nearly taking him out of the park, working a walk as well against Andrew Miller. For me, that's a huge win for the Cubs from that perspective. You lost a baseball game, obviously the biggest thing. Yeah. But now Schwarber can hit.
Well, and I agree with that. I don't think that we doubted that. I think we were just kind of maybe curious as to what he could bring. I mean, we broke it down in the pregame show, sometimes what happens at the front end of spring training. To see him turn Kluber around, that's absolutely outstanding. I mean, I'm excited for him, but you've got to remember, regardless, his impact is limited in this series. What it does is it put the Indians on respect Kyle Schwarber
on notice.
Right, and you have to. And you saw how he was pitched for the rest of the game. And I think that's important to take note. Like, he'll be in there tomorrow, but then we go back to Wrigley, he's not going to probably be able to play in 3, 4, and 5.
Yeah, Joe just said he has not yet been cleared to play defense.
Right.
At this point. That doesn't mean that he won't be cleared by Friday.
But if he were cleared by Friday with that knee brace on and the way that I
don't think you're playing him in the outfield.
That's kind of where I was going with that.
I wouldn't think so. I thought he ran. I watched him run for the double. He looked pretty good, but that's a straight line double.
Yeah, well, and I thought it was
in there.
I don't want to say there was any hesitation there. I just thought that it looked a little protected to me. And I would have done the same thing myself. There was no reason for him to bust it. But I guess my point is, are you going to really do that? Are you going to go that far? Maybe you do. I don't know. I don't really know the answer to it. For me, that would be hard for me to believe. I think he becomes a threat off the bench. And so just getting back to that point, your point about Schwarber, absolutely. I think that is one of the bigger moments of this ball game. That for me and working on Miller, because Miller had become just such a big star and a big figure in this series. To knock him down a little bit, to make him look vulnerable, even though we didn't score against him, I think there's something to be gained from that. But other than that, Cappy, there wasn't a whole lot positive going on for the Cubs tonight.
No question about it. All right, let's go back to the locker room. Here's Anthony Rizzo.
Guys, what they were able to do.
You know what? This is going to sound cliche, but I feel like we've had really good at-bats throughout the night. I know we punched out a lot, but I just feel like guys were having good at-bats and putting together bats where you grind it out, and we just didn't get those big hits to get us going, but we keep doing that, we'll be all right.
What were the impressions of Andrew Miller's past spot? You guys haven't seen him before.
I mean, we got his pitch count up to 50-something pitches, so that's good for us. Seeing him and guys getting to see him the first game is, I think, always in the hitter's advantage. But he's as advertised. You know, he bears in when he needs to, and he gets outs, and that's the name of the game.
Is there added emphasis on just getting runs early, just to change the landscape of him coming in the way he did?
I mean, we always want to score early just so we can let our pitchers settle down. But Kluber did a really good job at just shutting us down today.
Anthony, game 2 is obviously our not do or dies, but how important is it to put one on the board before you go home?
Yeah, it's big. We need to win. We need to win every game. So it's no bigger than it was this game, and tomorrow will be the biggest game of the year. And so we're game 3 and 4.
Later in the innings, can you take some positives with some good at bats? You know, 7-9, you had some chances with Miller too. Can you find some positives going into tomorrow?
Yeah, but we lost, so we just got to move on. And I don't think anyone's really hanging their head. It's just moving on and being ready to face Bauer tomorrow.
Anthony, you guys heard so much about how dangerous their bullpen is when they can have a lead. Now that you've had a chance to kind of face them and see what they have, does it help moving forward? And again, because you guys were able to grind some at-bats against guys like Andrew Miller?
I always think the more you can see guys, the better off as a hitter you are. So to me, a cat and mouse game with their bullpen and our hitters, I think we did a really good job at putting good at-bats against them. So even there in the ninth, Wilson hitting that double was nice, so all good.
Going through the NL this year, any pitcher that stands out to you that had that same
I don't really know. He's got the sink and cut and the slider, so the cutter or the curveball. So I don't know. I'm so focused right now on this. I can't even think of anyone else.
Was there ever a moment early on?
All right, there you go. Anthony Rizzo in the locker room. Cubs fall to the Indians tonight, 6-0. Game 2 tomorrow has been moved up by an hour because of a very severe threat of rain here in the Cleveland area. We'll take a timeout. We'll come back. A lot more to do. We'll have more guests from the locker room, more from Rhino and from Holly. You're watching Cubs Postseason Live on CSN. Be right back.
Cubs Postgame Live is presented by Blue Cross Blue Shield of Illinois. Through it all.
Make sure he's in bed by 8.
Sometimes I get scared.
Scared of what, Danny?
The things I can't see.
Got a weird feeling. Almost forgot. In case anything happens.
Dad, I got this.
Speed always wins, especially in my business. With slow internet from the phone company, you can't keep up. You're stuck, watching spinning wheels and progress bars until someone else scoops your story.
Switch to Comcast Business with high-speed internet up to 10 gigabits per second.
You wouldn't pick a slow race car, then why settle for slow internet?
Comcast Business, built for speed, built for business.
We started with the class-leading RX. We gave it paddle shifters to help you command the road. A sport mode to help you control the road. And a sport-tuned suspension to help you connect with the road. The Lexus RX F-Sport. This is the RX Elevated. Lease the 2016 RX 350 for $419 a month for 36 months. See your Lexus dealer.
You know the feeling. The rush of every roll, every flip, sip, bite, note, and night. You know the feeling. Get it at Ameristar.
All right, time for our UPS store taking care of business player of the game, and it's really only you could go two ways, I guess. You can give Perez for the home runs. We're going to give it to Corey Kluber. He dominated the Cubs. Tip your cap.
Yep.
Job well done.
He set the tone. He put zeros up there. He was ahead of the hitters. He made it tough on the hitters. And got the early runs from the offense, which always goes a long way with the starting pitching. But he set the tone. He set the tone for the game. We didn't threaten until late, and then came up short there. But at that point, you know, they had the lead with the early runs, and then had the add-on runs at the end.
Yeah, the add-on.
Well, let me just go ahead and I mean, again, they did the same thing to Clayton Kershaw, and I'll just leave it at that. I mean, again, tonight's you know, it feels like a rotten game. It is. Corey Kluber absolutely dominated, but again, Clayton Kershaw in the NLCS. Game 2 dominated, and you know, they were able to get after him the second time. So hopefully they took something from this outing.
All right, John Lester meets the media.
John, was your touch on the ball just fraction off in that first inning?
Oh yeah, just didn't have the best commands. You know, come out and start the game. So playoff games, that's all they need. You know, 2 walks can't happen. You know, especially after 2 quick outs. It's just, I don't care about the base hit. You know, the 2 walks after that, I mean, put the ball in play, make them earn it. Didn't do it.
How did you feel about your command today?
Like I said, not good. So throughout the game, wasn't good. Wasn't able to get ahead of guys for whatever reason. You know, felt fine. Had a lot of movement on my 2-seam, but when you're not in the zone, making them swing the bat, it doesn't really matter.
You haven't seen one of these guys before. I mean, you guys as a team haven't. Does that make any difference? Just learning new batters and things like that?
I mean, not this time of year, you know. Like I always say, you know, I execute a fastball at this time of year is the same as it is any time. So I didn't do that. You know, there's some things in there that we saw tonight that, you know, hopefully Jake can pick me up tonight or tomorrow and, you know, give me another chance. So we'll make some adjustments on some of these guys and you know, I don't want to say try anything different, but maybe just approach some different guys a different way and see you know, see how that works out.
John, it seems like pitching with a lead has been so important in these playoffs, maybe because the bullpens get shortened. You have Miller, you know, those guys at the end. Is that sort of disappointing then when you get behind like that?
It's always important. It doesn't matter what time of year it is, you know. Makes the manager's job a lot easier. It makes your job a lot easier. You know, when you give a guy like Kluber who was locked in from pitch 1, you know, 2 runs in the first, makes his job a lot easier. So, you know, there's just, you know, I know the feeling on the other side. You're just able to attack differently. You're able to go about things differently. You know, you get out of there with nothing and maybe things are different. So, yeah, I mean, it's always important to get to be able to pitch deep in the game and have the lead when you leave. And like you said, with the bullpens and all that stuff, the way they're setting up nowadays, you know, all you got to do is get through 6.
John, the way your offense was able to grind those at-bats against Miller, that must be encouraging to know that, I mean, as locked down as he's been, your offense has, you know, got to see him tonight and had a chance to grind.
Yeah, we had a chance, you know. That's all you can really ask for, especially a guy like him. You know, we had some good at-bats. We battled some pitches, got a couple base hits off him. I feel like, you know, it's good when your lefties are able to see him and take some really close pitches, sliders and fastballs off him. So that was big tonight. You know, the big thing is we got him to throw 40-something pitches, you know. So I just got done hearing Rossi say, you know, I know Andrew and I know his competitiveness and I know how he's going to approach tomorrow and who he's going to say to Tito and try to get into that game. But hopefully, you know, we were able to work him enough to where, you know, he's down tomorrow and we can not worry about him and maybe try to get to somebody else. But, you know, the biggest thing comes down to the first inning. The first inning was tonight's game. You know, I'm not worried too much about the homer. You give up a homer 1-0, I feel like our team's still right there in it.
How difficult is Lindor?
I mean, yeah, he's a tough hitter. He's, you know, obviously, I saw him briefly last year. You know, that's one of those guys. You know, you go back to seeing him. You know, you don't see him. You don't know what his approach is and all that stuff. So that's one of those guys for me that, you know, next time I think we'll approach things a little bit differently and you know, have a visual of what he's trying to do and how he's trying to swing the bat. So, like I said, hopefully Jake picks me up tomorrow and gives me another chance at this.
John, I'm not sure if you can answer this question or not, but from what we saw on TV, it seemed like there were some ambiguities with the strike zone. You know, you were making pitches that looked like strikes and were not called that way. Can you comment on that at all?
It is what it is. I can't change it. Either way, whether you throw a ball that's called a strike or a strike called a ball, you know. I'm a competitor. Like I said, I've worn my emotions on my sleeve. So Larry did a good job of controlling the situation. And it is what it is.
Can we assume that's giving your opinion to him between innings in that third?
I mean, I don't know if he had a mic. I don't know if, you know, it was whatever. But, you know, just two professionals talking to each other about what's going on. You know, I don't comment on umpires. I don't, you know, like I said, I'm a competitor. I think every ball I throw up there should be a strike. So, you know, we talked it out. We hashed it out. Moved on from there.
John, thank you, John. From having done this the whole way through and been on the winning end of this after a game like tonight, are you hearing the right things from guys? Did you see the right things from them tonight to know that, I mean, this is still a long series?
Yeah, we got a long ways to go. We win tomorrow, we're right back in it. You know, just like in LA, everybody counted us out after game 3. You know, said we were the best team in baseball. So we're here. You know, we're not giving up, and you know, I'm not too worried about what guys say or anything like that. I know my guys, I know my team, and I know that that nobody in this clubhouse is giving anything up. You know, show late in the game we battled at bats and we made guys throw pitches, and we had some chances. We just didn't come through. So, and that's partly my fault with the. Not partly, that's my fault with the first inning. You know, it goes back to that, setting that tone and getting out of that inning. So do a better job with that. I think we're in a better position, you know, throughout the game.
What were you able to do better after the first inning? Maybe you weren't doing in the first inning?
Not give up runs and walks.
Right. Is it like a mechanical thing? Or just
No, I mean, I'm not too worried about mechanics this time of year. You know, it's about executing pitches, and you know, like I said, I'm not worried about the base hit. I can live with hits. I can live with the homer. I can live with any other hit during that game. It's the walks. You know, the walks can't happen. There's certain times within a game where you need to move on to the next guy. You know, that dictates the game dictates that situation. But obviously that wasn't the situation in the first. I got to make those guys earn the 2 runs. I can't let free passes and hit by pitches and walks and stuff like that, you know, win a game. I would much rather deal with making bad pitches and guys hitting home runs than giving free passes and more outs. You know, that's how I kind of look at those, as more outs for them to work with, as opposed to just the 3 within the inning.
At the same time,
All right, there you go, John Lester. Time for a Wrigleyville Sports winning box score. And look, they had their third baseman come up with 3 hits tonight. Their catcher had 2 home runs. Lindor had 3 hits. Their guys who had to deliver stepped up and delivered.
Yeah, it was a good approach by the Indians tonight. I mean, they got out, got some early fastballs. Lindor had a big game. That continues his hot postseason. He's had a very nice one already. So, I mean, you know what kind of impact player he is. Got some power from the bottom of the lineup. Again, it's some of the other guys in this lineup. It wasn't Napoli, it wasn't Santana that had big blows in this ball game. But again, this is a good Indians lineup. They're going to have to pitch. I mean, you're going to have to keep these guys down. They have a good team.
They do, and like John Lester just said, you know, base on balls did not help him tonight, because then it was just a swinging bunt and a hit batsman. Runs come in, and those walks, Major League Baseball, I've seen it for years, where they just seemed to find a way to come in. So, you know, I think going forward, the Cubs need to swing the bats and create some excitement in their dugout and get going, get some momentum with the offense, with the at-bats. Let Arrieta pitch with a little run support. I think that'd go a long way tomorrow night.
All right, we've got to take a timeout again. The poll question: did tonight's outcome change the way you feel about the series? Nope, we could still get a split, or yep, we really needed the W tonight. CSNChicago.com/vote. And again, you can vote right there on your tablet, mobile, or laptop. We'll come back. More to do here on CSN. We'll hear from Kyle Schwarber next.
With a curved ultra-high-definition screen, Samsung's SUHD TVs give you a brighter picture and the most brilliant colors for the best viewing experience. It's Samsung's best TV, and it's here at Apt Electronics, available in screen sizes from 48 to 88 inches. Come see it today. Guaranteed low prices, unbeatable selection, and free local delivery. Apt, pleasing people since 1936.
Meeting people is my life. I was embarrassed to show my teeth. It was time to do something that was going to be permanent.
The Clear Choice one-day approach is making dental implants a reality for people all over the country who suffer from missing or failing teeth.
We have expertise that you might not find anywhere else, all in one location.
The next day, I had a new smile. Couldn't wait to show some folks.
Schedule your free consultation today. We'll even talk about financing options.
I had the best smile I'd ever had in my life.
Call Clear Choice today.
Look at it, lads. New York City. Just doesn't get any better than this.
Actually, it does. With Grubhub, you can get the best foods delivered anywhere.
Gluten-free pad thai here for Seamus.
I am Seamus.
Gluten-free?
Yeah. Can't even taste the difference. Oh, you gotta lock up that front tire.
When my hair gets too long, I lose my edge. But when my cut's right, I'm right. I'm back to being me. My dimples activate. My cleft chin becomes cleftier. I get a twinkle on my tooth, and I speak fluent French. Garbage, chaise lounge, mayonnaise.
Au revoir. Get in, get out, back to greatness. Download the online check-in app. Great clips. It's gonna be great.
All right, welcome back on our CSN Cubs postseason live. Look at the Cubs box score tonight. 3 hits for Ben Zobrist. He had a really good night. Rhino with a key performer win tonight. That was his pick. Nicely done, Ryan Sandberg. And Javi had a knock. You had Kyle Schwarber with a walk and a double. Nearly got it out of the ballpark. Kyle Schwarber's talking to the media right now.
It was a good day overall for me personally, but obviously we want the outcome to be in our side, but definitely a positive day for me at the plate. Nerves, yeah. They were there. After that first bet, everything was slowed down, so it was good to get the first spat out of the way.
Chris Bryant said you're inhuman. It was spectacular.
I mean, there was a lot of hard work that went into it, and like I said, I was just grateful for the opportunity to try to come back and do this, and now I'm here. I don't got anything to lose. We're just going to throw it on the line.
What was the most difficult part of today for you?
Most difficult part of the day?
Right now.
Yeah, right now. No, I would probably say this. I haven't been in the game in so long, so now you have to learn how to prep and everything all over again. And at some point I might have felt a little rushed, just to try to get out there. But overall, good day.
You faced the 2 toughest pitchers just about in the American League the first time out, and you look like you've been playing for a while. Does that give you a lot of support feeling going forward here?
Yeah, it gave me definitely a lot of confidence. Those guys are 2 premier arms, and to feel comfortable at the plate was definitely a plus for me.
Running around first on that double, did you think about the knee at all?
No. No question. No doubts in my knee.
How about the read on the fly ball when you went off second? What was that?
There was a little miscommunication there. There was a little miscommunication between me and Javi, but thankfully it worked out.
Javi and some of the other players said that you being in the lineup is a difference maker just by being there. They have to pitch everybody differently and tougher. It's quite a compliment. I'm sure it makes you feel pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just going to do what I do at the plate. And, the guys around me, too, make it hard for these guys to pitch. Everyone, this lineup's tough. And, Kluber was really good today. And then Miller got his way out of the jam. So, we're going to find a way tomorrow and look forward to going all out tomorrow.
Do you have to watch our video because you haven't seen these pitchers that you're going to be facing?
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, I watch a lot of video. I mean, had a little history with Kluber before. I faced him last year, but Miller was a first for me, and but overall, you just gotta do your homework and make sure that you're confident going into the game.
Kyle, from a team standpoint, Game 2 is not a must-win, but how important to get a win to go home with something under your belt?
Yeah, it's definitely key for us to play our game. We're not going to go out here and we're not going to go press. We're not going to put all this pressure on us because we think we need to win ball games. We're a good baseball club. We're here for a reason. So go out there, play our game. We'll be fine.
You expect a natural baseball stiffness tomorrow, just the natural stuff that you use.
Oh, that's going to be over. I got it out of the way when I was down there in Arizona. I felt a little sore the first couple of days down there, but luckily everything's worked its way out.
And staying with the nerves, right?
Yeah, nerves will be gone.
How did you keep from overdoing it? With so much adrenaline pumping.
It was tough. You just got to know yourself and know what to do, what not to do, and I thought overall we had a good game plan with me today for trying to prepare for the game.
You said you might cry.
Almost. I almost did the national anthem. I almost did.
What was it like leaving Arizona and then getting whisked all the way up here to play after going from the Fall League to the World Series?
A lot of emotions. It was a whirlwind. I had the opportunity, and there was no guarantees going forward. And for me to get the news, it was great. So then this, all excitement from there.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
All right, there you go. So you've heard from a number of the key players in tonight's ballgame. I want to ask you guys about Schwarber going from the Fall League, where there's 20 people in the stands, to 40-some thousand here at Progressive, facing Corey Kluber and Andrew Miller, two of the best in the game.
Pretty unbelievable. I was impressed with his first at-bat. It was a long at-bat. He saw a lot of pitches. He laid off some balls that were inside. Had a good long at-bat. I thought that was a good start for him, leading up to the ball that he hit off the wall and the walk that he drew. I think all in all, he was on base a couple of times, saw some pitches. That's a plus going forward, I believe, for him.
Yeah, I don't think he overcomplicated things tonight. I don't think he walked into this one and, applied more pressure to himself than, maybe the circumstances. Probably all of us probably applied to this circumstance. Who in the world comes back after 6 months and jumps right into the World Series and does anything, right? We think that that's not even a possibility, yet he did it. Seeing him in the pregame interview, I saw that calm demeanor that he's always had. I thought, as soon as I saw it, I was like,
I got this.
I got this. Right. And like I said, to me, it wasn't going to be about the results. All I needed to do was see him hit the ball hard one time. Now, granted, he ends up getting a double in the ball game and good at bats, but that's what I was looking for tonight. Part of what I was looking at, I'm like, this is Kluber. What in the world? Does he mean he really expect to go in there and get 3 hits against Kluber tonight, especially since he hasn't seen him before or has played really this year? And, of course, he goes in there and hits a double. So, listen, what you're absolutely right about what you extract from this ball game. He's back. He is a force, and he is somebody that's certainly going to help this Cubs team win this thing, and that's good to know.
All right, we will. Where are we going, Nelly? Going back to the locker room? Chris Bryant is ready to speak in the locker room. Take a listen to the Cub third baseman.
Maybe some nerves got to us a little bit, but they took advantage of it, and we didn't.
How tough was Kluber?
He's good. He's got, felt like he had everything working. He didn't hang many breaking balls. He had his fastball coming back over the outside corner. Nothing really over the middle of the plate.
Do you feel like it was kind of a vague strike zone early on?
I can't comment on that. Maybe in 5 years or so. Not right now.
What did you do to keep you off balance?
He wasn't really falling into any pattern, I guess. But no, like I said, he was throwing his stuff where he wanted to. It was, there wasn't anything over the middle of the plate to really do any damage off of it. But, I felt like we had some pretty good at-bats after, the first 3 innings. So that's something to build off of.
You guys have come back in the postseason, obviously in the last round. But is losing the first one here change your mindset at all heading into game 2?
Yeah, I mean, we got to win. I mean, it's nice to, anytime you're on the road, it's nice to split. So if we're able to do that, then, we can look at this first part as a success.
Chris, how important was it to build up a lot of pitches against the injured?
Yeah.
Because
Yeah, that was huge. I mean, I don't know how many there were, but it felt like it was like around 50. So that's huge. I mean, I'm sure he's going to be a little tired. I mean, he was, doing his job. He's, going max effort. So anytime you can get, their best guy out of the bullpen to throw a lot of pitches and have good at-bats off him, gives us a bunch of confidence.
I assume you guys know it's an earlier start time tomorrow. They told you what afterwards.
Yeah, I saw it on the scoreboard.
I know you were locked in with that. Does that affect you at all? Is it,
No, honestly, I feel like it's better. We don't really play any 8 o'clock games during the year, so if we get back to some normalcy with the 7:05 games, but whatever. I mean, we'll be ready to play.
How would you evaluate Kyle's performance tonight?
Kyle Schwarber, great. I mean, it's unbelievable that guy could have, I don't know how many played. He had like maybe 5 or 10 this whole year, and taking 6 months off, and then on a great walk off of Miller, and a double off of Kluber. I mean, pretty good.
What did you say to him before the game?
Nothing. Nothing really needed to be said to him. He knew he didn't want to come out here and try too hard. He was just, fitting in and doing his job. And I thought he had a unbelievable bats today. So a lot of positives.
Does that make it more amazing he was able to do that on this stage in the World Series and not try to do too much?
Yeah, I mean, it's almost not human. I mean, you swing at strikes. I mean, when you take time off, you feel a little more anxious up there, but it certainly didn't show from him.
Get out of the shot. Okay, great. You still got to get out of the shot.
All right, welcome back in here to Cubs Postseason Live. Cubs fall tonight 6-0, and they are down 1-0 in this best-of-7 World Series. First appearance in 71 years, and now tomorrow night they'll sit Jake Arrieta against Trevor Bauer, and you got a chance to see if you can win a baseball game. All right, we'll take a timeout. We'll come back, get the guys' thoughts on that matchup and a few more housekeeping items. You're watching CSN.
Pat Hughes reporting from Wrigleyville Sports, where the excitement is building. Devin is getting a new home white jersey customized while he waits. He'll be ready for game action in no time. Ashley is having fun taking selfies in her new Cubs t-shirt. Fits like a glove. Colin is testing out a new bat. Get out the tape measure, long gone. Across the street from Wrigley Field, Wrigleyville Sports is your one-stop shop for everything Cubs. Open 7 days a week or anytime at WrigleyvilleSports.com.
When you visit Canals BMW, your toughest decision is which BMW will you drive home? A sporty BMW convertible? BMW sedan? BMW coupe? Or one of these BMW high-performance luxury models? And of course, everybody can get into one of these beauties. Canals BMW. Outstanding selection, competitive pricing, always a great decision.
I want to eat apples and bananas. I need to eat apples and bananas. Why can't I eat?
1 in 5 children struggles with hunger in America. Support the Feeding America nationwide network of food banks to help provide meals to those in need. Join us at feedingamerica.org.
Mike Anderson Chevrolet in Chicago brings you an all-star lineup for 2016.
Let's start at the top of the roster with the redesigned Chevy Malibu.
Our team favorite is the Chevy Silverado. Pack away all your gear in this full-size pickup truck.
This month, save up to 33% on select 2016 Chevys in stock, like this brand new 2016 Spark LT. Was $18,560, now only $12,968.
Visit Mike Anderson Chevrolet in Chicago, 1 mile west of the Kennedy on beautiful Irving Park Road.
Mike Anderson Chevrolet, the Chevy Giant.
See you soon.
All right, our Four Seasons heating, air conditioning, and plumbing. Who's hot and who's not? Who's hot in their career in the World Series? How about Big Papi, David Ortiz? Played 14 games, hit .455 with 3 bombs, 14 knocked in, and a 1372 OPS. Who's not? John Jay Brutal. 13 games, a .139 batting average, no extra base hits, and a lowly 344 OPS. All right, welcome back into Cubs Postseason Live on CSN with the Hall of Famer Ryan Sandberg and Todd Hollingsworth. I'm David Kaplan. Rhino, you were a manager. What would you do tomorrow night? Jake has not been great his last few starts, and he's had his guy Montero in there. Would you not start him and put Contreras in there to get the offense in, or go back to Montero?
Well, there is a choice there, and there's an option, but I would say stick with the left-handed bat, go with Montero. I think Jake's the guy tomorrow for the Cubs.
He's more comfortable with him.
He's more comfortable with him. He's the right guy tomorrow to go out, and he needs to do what Kluber did, and that's establish the strike zone, quality pitches down in the zone, be able to expand with 2 strikes, and really set a good tone. And I think Montero's the guy to catch him, but Joe has some options there. He does. If he wants Contreras' bat from a right side, I mean, that's an option, but that'll be an interesting choice.
What would you do?
I'd go with Montero. I think because, this is a bad, it's a loss. Any loss is a bad loss. I don't think it's one that you have to flip out about, though. It's plain and simple. Montero's been his guy. He's left-handed. He's also had some impactful at-bats. I mean, go back to the Grand Slam. He's also had some big swings. So bottom line for me is, I don't know, sometimes when a manager, if you make too many changes, I think the players start to feel a little anxious. And not that Joe hasn't used, a variety of lineups this year. I think that's very, well understood that, he's going to make some changes. And you saw a couple of them tonight, and I'm not saying that's the reason, but I think that if all of a sudden you go in a different direction outside of Montero, you just say, okay, well, why? And you say, oh, well, it's because of the bat. And then he says, well, because Montero's lefty. I just think that the way that it's been going, that's probably going to be your pick.
You in the 03 World Series, you trailed to the Yankees in the series,
right?
Correct, 2-1.
I believe so, yes.
No panic, and you ended up winning it in 6 ball games.
Right, yeah. I mean, there's absolutely no reason to panic. It's a 7-game series, everybody. I mean, yeah, tonight it was not a, is
not our night.
Is there a good loss? I mean, right? I mean, I don't know how you say that, but I mean, you kind of, it didn't work out tonight. Kluber had his game, and I said it in the pregame show, and I think we all agreed, and I think everybody else agrees. Jeff Passan agreed. The Indians, this was a bit of a must-win.
They had to win with Kluber.
The Cubs are not in a position, I never for once thought if they lost game 1, they're in all sorts of trouble. That is just absolutely not the case. Tonight was a bad loss. You move on from it. You come back tomorrow and play your game.
All right, Addison Russell is talking to the media. Let's listen in.
I mean, are you guys shocked at all still by him, or is it just kind of when you see him in the lineup, you expect that he's going to be kind of the same guy?
Well, it's a little bit different story with him, but the fact that he got his first hit, this season in the World Series is pretty huge, whenever the lights are on. So that's kind of scary if you think about it.
Was the movement on Kluber's pitches difficult to track early on in the game?
It wasn't difficult to track. The first time seeing it, you're really not anticipating it being that sharp. Talking about his curveball, that was the first time I faced him. I was looking for something, kind of away. Started in and finished out over the plate.
I guess what was maybe the most difficult part of facing him then?
Just his pitch mix in general. Whenever he's spotting up, he's doing his job, and then whenever he changes speeds of his slider and curveball, and kind of like deceives the velo a little bit, deceives the movement on his breaking ball. It's pretty tough to hit.
Did you say that you want to see Andrew Miller again tomorrow?
I mean, I don't see why not.
Probably would mean you're behind. That'd be one reason, huh?
What positives do you take away from the approaches you did have against Miller tonight, though? I mean, that's supposed to be one of the best, and you guys made him look really human out there tonight.
Yeah, I saw his slider. Okay. That's kind of what I wanted to see. I saw his best slider. I'm taking that in, to game 2, 3, 4, 5, whatever it may be. So having that in the back of my mind is kind of good for me.
Just having talked to John Lester, he's taken a lot of this on himself tonight, but do you feel like there was a part of the offense that could have, you guys had your opportunities, right? I mean, he really feels like he didn't set the tone in that first inning, but I know that you guys have come back before from situations like that.
Yeah, and with a good ball club like that, they're not going to allow us to get back into the game, so you have to tip your cap to them because they did a great job tonight. But, yeah, they got up on us early. We had a few chances of scoring. We didn't come through in those particular situations. It's key that you stick with your approach. And we just didn't do that tonight.
One last thing, sorry. Just overall, your first World Series experience when you ran out there on the field to the night, what were the emotions like for you?
Oh man, I was having butterflies. It was awesome, especially on a chilly night. I mean, you can't ask for anything better. With a great crowd, a solid Cubs crowd as well, and yeah, I mean, we're out here playing the game that we love, and you know, I never thought that I was going to be here, so it's just an honor in itself, and we're going to try our best to take full advantage of this opportunity.
All right, no panic in the Cubs clubhouse. They'll go out and try and win a baseball game tomorrow night, and they'll have one of their best arms to try and do it, Jake Arrieta against Trevor Bauer. They say Bauer's finger looks better after cutting it on a drone. I know that sounds weird, but that is the truth. But Jake's just got to go out and be Jake.
He has to go out and be Jake, and he's the right guy for the task, and I know that he'll give a boost to the players going out behind him. He was a Cy Young last year. He just needs to start early, put some zeros up there, establish his own, set a tone.
And see if we can score early.
Get the hitters back in the dugout, exactly. Let us swing the bats. So have the defense out there, but hopefully he can work down in the zone, get some strikes, early strikes, work ahead of the hitters. Let the guys swing the bats and get some early runs. Some crooked numbers early would be ideal for Dirk.
All right, we'll take a timeout. We still got to set the pitching matchup on both ends tomorrow and wrap this show up. So we'll be right back on CSN.
This Cubs injury report is brought to you by ATI Physical Therapy, taking physical therapy to a higher level. Ask your doctor about ATI Physical Therapy. Get there.
Great, that's 13. I've spent my life planting a size 6 non-slip shoe into that door. On this side, I want my customers to relax and enjoy themselves. But these days, it's phones before forks. They want Wi-Fi out here. But behind that door, I need a private connection for my business.
Wi-Fi Pro from Comcast Business. Public Wi-Fi for your customers, private Wi-Fi for your business.
Strong and secure. Good for a door and a network.
Comcast Business. Built for security, built for business.
This rusty mess isn't going anywhere. Don't trust it to just any cleaner. Trust CLR. CLR makes quick work of the toughest jobs, dissolving crusty white buildup so your shower runs like new. CLR cuts through hard water buildup and helps keep your washer running clean. CLR also earned the EPA's Safer Choice seal, so it's safer for your family. Trust the power of the CLR family and trust your clean to CLR. CLR is available at these fine retailers.
Your mommy knows where to find great Nissan savings. At Arlington Nissan, get great customer service, selection, and savings.
During our Savings Spooktacular, lease a 2016 Rogue S for just $149 a month with $29.95 due at signing.
Bob Rohrman. Bob Rohrman's Arlington Nissan, just east of Route 53 on Dundee Road.
With robotic technology, we can now regrow your natural hair. And I should know, because I had the same procedure done to myself.
The technology is here. The time is now. Fantastic results, flexible payments. Call today.
For the most Cubs coverage, go to csnchicago.com. Brought to you by Wintrust.
All right, time for our Blue Cross Blue Shield Keys recap. Holly, time 28, take it away.
All right, don't wait around. I don't think the Cubs really did. I thought there was a good, healthy, aggressive approach early against Kluber, but Kluber made pitches, and it was a bit of a double-edged sword. I mean, 5 strikeouts the first time through the lineup when you're looking to be a little aggressive. But interestingly enough, 4 of the 5 strikeouts were looking. So, I mean, the idea was to be aggressive early in the count, and certainly that's what I saw. But again, there was not enough good contact against Kluber. Part of that being he was making pitches, and then he got nastier as those at-bats went on. So, again, basically you hope that they, extract some good information on Kluber tonight and that they are able to make something out of it the next time they face them. The Indians running game, that was never a factor in this ball game tonight. Lindor had a stolen base and a caught stealing, oh, by the way. So all of that talk about running, that really did not happen as I kind of thought would happen. And the last one was going to be Schwarber. I'm taking it, man. That's the one I get, 1 for 3 tonight. Schwarbs was outstanding. Good to see him swinging the bat. And to me, as Rhino pointed out, what was good to see was there were good quality at-bats. Even the strikeout wasn't a bad strikeout. He worked the count. He saw some sliders. Yeah, he ultimately missed one. But at the end, I thought it was a solid at-bat, and it's something that you build off of. You do not even hesitate to put him in the lineup tomorrow, Captain.
All right, we'll take our final break, come back, get the guys' final thoughts, and wrap this puppy up. Cubs down 1-0 in the 2016 World Series. Be right back on CSN.
When my hair is too long, I don't feel right. But when I get a cut, I'm me again, only better. My tattoo gets feistier. My crazy eye snaps to attention. I become my own Wi-Fi hotspot.
I just downloaded the entire internet.
And trust falls? They don't even scare me anymore.
That pomade really broke my fall.
Get in, get out, back to greatness. Download the online check-in app. Great clips. It's gonna be great.
Pat Hughes reporting from Wrigleyville Sports, where the excitement is building. Devin and Colin are choosing caps from the enormous wall of hats. Check out that selection. Chris and Tony are sporting new home jerseys with the blue pinstripes, blue hats, and sleeves. Get these ball players some trousers. Katrina is eyeing a new sweatshirt. She wants to be ready for the postseason. Across the street from Wrigley Field, Wrigleyville Sports is your one-stop shop for everything Cubs. Open 7 days a week or anytime at WrigleyvilleSports.com.
This is what precision feels like. Magnetic Ride Control actively monitors road conditions 1,000 times per second to deliver a comfortable ride.
1,000 times, huh? Yep, per second.
This is the new 2017 Sierra Denali from GMC. This is the precision of professional grade. Or step up to the brand new 2017 GMC Sierra SLT and get nearly $9,200 total value on select specially equipped crew cab vehicles in stock. GMC, we are professional grade.
Hello? This is she.
Is that the doctor?
Okay, wow, really? It's two? That's great news, thank you.
It's two?
Yes, it's two. It's 2 for 1 windows at Feldco.
Feldco is offering 2 windows for the price of 1, with no money down and no interest until 2018.
2 windows for the price of 1 ends Monday. Hurry. Call now.
For quality windows, siding, and doors, call 866 for Feldco.
Poll. All right, take a look again on your screen. There are the results of our poll question. I don't think that there is any panic at all when you lose one game in a best-of-7. You know how Cub fans get a little bit nervous, but one baseball game, you move on, try and win a game tomorrow. Right, Rhino?
That's right. Tomorrow's a bounce-back game for the Cubs. They have the right guy on the mound. He can set a good tone. Got all the first game hoopla out of the way. I think it's back to business for the Cubs. Get some early runs. Top of the order, I think, is a key.
Against Bauer.
Get some of those guys on base. Tonight, I believe they're 0 for 12. The first 3 guys 0 for 12. They can set a different tone at the top of the order. Get some early base runners. Try and get an early number up there on the board for Jake.
He has good stuff. I mean, it's not a soft-tossing guy we're facing.
Talking about Bauer?
Yeah.
Yeah, the thing about Bauer is he is a bit of what do you call it when you don't know what you're going to get? I mean, he's got
a mixed bag.
Well, I mean, he's got a really good arm. He's got a great breaking ball, but he doesn't always throw strikes, and it's as simple as that. And I'm curious to see how it goes tomorrow with the finger and everything else. How aggressive he is against this Cubs lineup. He's got just tremendous power, and certainly hitters all up and down that he's going to have to respect tomorrow night. So he has the propensity at times to lose command of the strike zone. He'll walk 4 guys in an inning. He could be great. He might not be.
Boys, I'll see you tomorrow. Warm up.
Sounds good.
We'll see you all tomorrow. Don't forget, game's been moved up by an hour. That means our pregame moves up by an hour. We'll see you tomorrow.
Make sure he's in bed by 8.
Sometimes I get scared.
Scared of what, Danny?
The things I can't see.
Got a weird feeling.
Almost forgot. In case anything happens.
Dad, I got this.
Speed always wins, especially in my business. With slow internet from the phone company, you can't keep up. You're stuck, watching spinning wheels and progress bars until someone else scoops your story.
Switch to Comcast Business with high-speed internet up to 10 gigabits per second.
You wouldn't pick a slow race car, then why settle for slow internet?
Comcast Business. Built for speed, built for business.
When you visit Canals BMW, your toughest decision is which BMW will you drive home? A sporty BMW convertible? BMW sedan? BMW coupe? Or one of these BMW high-performance luxury models? And of course, everybody can get into one of these beauties. Canals BMW. Outstanding selection, competitive pricing, always a great decision.
Attention blood thinner users. Thousands of blood thinner users may have been exposed to serious risk by these dangerous medications. If your loved one took Xarelto or Pradaxa and suffered serious internal bleeding, call right now. Call Nightline Legal to speak with an experienced attorney for a free consultation. If we don't win, there is no fee. There are time deadlines to file a claim, so don't wait. Call right now.
Call 1-800-496-9019. Again, that's 1-800-496-9019.
You may not be a prepper now, but you will be. Whether the next disaster is man-made or wrought by Mother Nature, you need a plan. WiseFoodStorage.com's emergency gourmet meals are made in the USA, delicious, easy to prepare, just add water, and packaged and proportioned perfectly, eliminating waste and creating a shelf life of up to 25 years.
Get your free sample now. Call in the next 15 minutes and get your free survival guide. Call 800-793-8309.
Hi there, I'm Bob Eubanks. And if you're struggling with an IRS tax debt of $10,000 or more, I want you to call my friends at the Tax Defense Group. They recently turned a client's $100,000 tax debt into a refund. You gotta love that. So call the Tax Defense Group now. They'll give you a 100% satisfaction guarantee, and they're open 24 hours a day because tax debt doesn't sleep either.
Call now, 800-341-8220.
SportsNet Central starts right now.
You're connected to SportsNet Central, presented by CLR.
Our drive to a championship brought to you by Lexus. One of the big stories entering Game 1 was that the Cubs added Kyle Schwarber to the World Series roster. Schwarber hasn't played since the opening week of the season after tearing up his knee ligaments. Schwarber, though, the Cubs' designated hitter for Game 1, and nobody was keeping him off that field.
Knowing that I had the opportunity to try and get back, it would kill me deep down inside if I didn't. And I knew going into it, there was no guarantees of I'm going to come back and be on the World Series roster. I didn't do it for this reason. I didn't want the media attention. I don't want any of that. You know, I did it for my teammates. You know, I did it for me too. It's a special clubhouse we got, and that's why I did it.
So Schwarber batting fifth in the Cubs lineup for Game 1. Started out top of the first. Corey Kluber fans Dexter Fowler on a sinker there. And then strikes out Chris Bryant with a fastball. Cubs go down 1-2-3. Bottom of the first with 2 outs. Francisco Lindor singles into center field. Then Lindor steals second base easily. David Ross can't make a throw. Lindor in scoring position. Then Lester walks Mike Napoli. Then Carlos Santana to load the bases. That would be with 2 outs. Up next, Jose Ramirez with a swinging bunt to third. No play for Bryant. The infield single scores Lindor. It is 1-0 Indians just like that. Brandon Geyer is the next batter, and Lester hits him with an 0-2 pitch. That forces in another run. The Indians scored twice in the first off Lester. Top of the second, after Ben Zobrist's double, it was time for Schwarber's first Major League at-bat since April 5th, but Kluber strikes him out, then gets Javi Baez on a sinker. Fans Chris Coughlin, so he strikes out the side. Bottom of the second, Rajai Davis gonna hit one back to Lester, who makes a nice kick save to knock the ball down. Cleveland does not score in the second. Top of the third now, Kluber does it again. Punches out Addison Russell on a curve, then gets Fowler swinging. Fans Bryant to strike out the side again. Kluber is the first pitcher in World Series history to strike out 8 batters through 3 innings pitched. Cubs after the fourth. Schwarber knocks off some rust with this. A rocket to deep right field. He just misses a homer by a matter of inches. Instead, it's a 2-out double for Schwarber. Baez up next. He's going to hit one to right field, but not nearly as well as Schwarber. That's going to be a fly-out inning over. Bottom of the fourth, Leicester facing Roberto Perez.
Type change. Here's a shot into left. That's pounded and gone. Home run. Roberto Perez. 3-0 Cleveland on top. That ball was scorched.
That's the hardest hit ball of Leicester all season with an exit velocity of 112.9 miles per hour. Leicester goes 5 2/3 innings, 3 runs all earned on 6 hits. Top of the 7th now. Zobrist at the plate. He's going to lead off with a single to shallow left. That's going to be it for Kluber. He dominates 6 scoreless innings, 4 hits, 9 strikeouts for the Indians' ace. In comes Andrew Miller. He's going to walk Schwarber. And then Baez at the plate, singles to left. That would load the bases with nobody out, so the Cubs got a great opportunity here. Wilson Contreras pinch hits for Coghlan, but he flies out to center field, 1 away. Russell up next. Miller strikes him out, so it's up to Ross. But Miller fans him on a slider to end the frame. Cubs cannot cash in on their best opportunity tonight. Top of the 8th. Runners at the corners with 2 outs for Schwarber, but Miller gets him this time on a wicked slider. Bottom of the 8th, Hector Rondon pitching. 2 on, 2 out. Rondon hangs a slider to Perez, and the catcher goes deep to left center again. His 2nd homer of the game. Perez drives in 4 runs, and the Indians beat the Cubs 6-0 in Game 1 of the World Series. So the Indian starter, Corey Kluber, was just dominant in Game 1. Those 6 innings, 4 hits, 9 strikeouts on just 88 pitches. He's expected to go again in Game 4. The Indians' bullpen also kept the door closed on the Cubs hitters. Ben Zobrist had the big night at the plate for the North Siders, going 3 for 4 with a double. Schwarber also with that double and a walk in his return to action. The Cubs, though, 1 for 11 with runners in scoring position as they fall 6-0 in Game 1. Here's Joe Madden talking about how good Kluber was in the game.
He's good. I mean, he gets such great movement in both directions with his cutter and then his comebacker, and he was hitting his edges. He pitched well. You got to give him a lot of credit. He pitched well. I liked our bats overall against Miller. I liked the fact we got him up to 50 pitches also. So there was a lot of positives with that. We struck out a lot, but I'll defend the fact we did have some good at-bats. We had opportunities. We were unable to obviously get the big hit, knock the run in. But saw a lot of pitches tonight. Kluber was outstanding, but I thought we did a good job against Miller.
And over here in the right front.
Hey, buddy.
Hey, the Bryant and Rizzo against the Dodgers in your 2 shutouts, they were pretty much cuffed. I think they were 3 for 14.
Right.
Tonight, I think 0 for 7. Is that a result of a couple of Cy Young Award pitchers? And, you know, once you guys get going against the rest of the staff and they get going, you seem to produce.
No, I want to believe I know we're going to be fine. You're right. They pitched really, really well tonight. Kluber was outstanding. Up and down the lineup. Overall, I saw a lot of good things among a lot of our hitters tonight. How about Zobrist? Great night. How about Schwarber? Having not played all year, had some really good at-bats. I thought Javi had some good at-bats. Contreras coming off the bench was fine. David Ross worked good at-bats. I mean, I'm not disappointed by any means except for the fact we did not win. I thought we came out ready to play. They pitched well. That first inning hurt, you know, the walks, not even the dribbler or the hit batter. It was about the walks prior to that really hurt us. And then their 9-hole hitter, Perez, kicked us, man. That was 4. He drove in 4 points today, so give him a lot of credit. But overall, I was not disappointed. I know we had 15 punch-outs. I get it. But the quality of the at-bats were not that bad.
Oh, yeah. Just didn't have the best commands. Come out and start the game. So playoff games, that's all they need, you know. 2 walks can't happen, you know, especially after 2 quick outs. It's just, I don't care about the base hit. You know, the 2 walks after that, I mean, put the ball in play, make them earn it. Didn't do it.
How did you feel about your command today?
Like I said, not good. So throughout the game, wasn't good. Wasn't able to get ahead of guys for whatever reason. You know, felt fine. had a lot of movement on my two-seam, but when you're not in the zone making them swing the bat, it doesn't really matter.
Kluber is one of just 6 pitchers to strike out 9 without allowing any walks in a World Series game, joining the likes of Cliff Lee, Curt Schilling, and Roger Clemens. Kluber also became the first pitcher in World Series history to strike out 8 in the first 3 innings. For more, let's send it back to Cleveland and visit our postseason live crew.
Alongside the Hall of Famer Ryne Sandberg and Todd Hollandsworth, I'm David Kaplan. Cubs struggled tonight. John Lester not sharp. In fact, the first inning, a couple of walks, a 20-foot hit, and a hit by pitch, and all of a sudden you're 2 runs in the hole, and that was the ball game, boys.
That wasn't typical John Lester right there early on. Really looked like he struggled getting ahead of hitters and throwing strikes. And I learned a long time ago when you walk multiple guys in an inning, somehow those guys seem to
come back to haunt you.
Whether it's a swinging bunt, a hit by pitch, so it came back to haunt him right there. They got their early lead with their ace on the mound, and Kluber was outstanding. And so along with Miller, pretty much summed it up right there. They scored in the middle with the home run. They scored late, so the Tribe kind of had a recipe for them for a W tonight.
Yeah, when it comes down to how the Indians are going to win this series, if they win it, they win tonight. I mean, it's very specific how they have to win. They have to score early. Their pitching has to hold up, but the idea is to get the ball to their bullpen, to Andrew Miller in particular, and that's really what they did tonight.
He was not great tonight.
No, he wasn't. But again, when you come into the series, the idea is, what do we have to do to win a baseball game? Terry Francona has talked about this. They have certain guys that can help them obviously win, like Corey Kluber going tonight. They have some deficiencies in this rotation by definition. They don't have the deepest bullpen, and they're not the best offensive team, and they've had some struggles this postseason, as the 192 batting average outside of Lindor tells you coming into this ball game. But what they've done, they've gotten early leads, and they've turned that ball over to the bullpen rather early. So when you look at this one, you say, yeah, Kluber was outstanding in this ball game, no doubt about it. But when you get the ball to Miller with a lead, that's the idea. That's their formula. And when you see that, it has not lost for them yet this postseason.
There were also good things you could take away from this game. And people will go, what are you, crazy? A 6-0 game? Kyle Schwarber nearly took one out. He hit it off the wall.
Yeah,
drew a walk and reached base. Ben Zobrist had a couple of knocks tonight. Javi Baez had a couple of knocks tonight. So there were a few things. The Schwarber thing for me is a huge takeaway.
That's a huge takeaway. He looked, drove the ball out there, but he's got a game under his belt. I think that'll help him going forward if he's in the lineup, when he's in the lineup. And so just seeing pitches under the lights, being here under this atmosphere will help him.
I think that's the biggest mountain for me. I was thrilled to see Schwarber back and, having the impact the way that he did in the ball game. That's pretty amazing what he pulled off tonight, turning Kluber around just like that. But to me, when you look at what this series means moving forward, and then you look at what Andrew Miller represented coming into this game, which I think is on historical proportions like, Mount Everest, the Cubs knocked him down a few pegs, and I think that's important to acknowledge in this one. 47 pitches, 2 innings, 2 walks. All sorts of traffic out there. Yeah, they had some opportunities. They didn't come through. Addy Russell's at bat. He got a whole bunch of sliders right there, ended up chasing out of the zone. It's what Miller will do, but I felt like they did a good job of getting his pitch count up and making him work. You're going to see a lot more of him.
All right, thanks, guys. The Cubs now turn to Jake Arrieta in Game 2 as they look to even up the series tonight. Coming up, he talks about performing on baseball's biggest stage at Progressive Field. And speaking of Cleveland, Joakim Noah continues to troll Cavs fans. We'll show you how he spoiled their ring ceremony. And are there any hard feelings between Jay Cutler and John Fox? We'll hear from the Bears quarterback after the break.
This rusty mess isn't going anywhere. Don't trust it to just any cleaner. Trust CLR. CLR makes quick work of the toughest jobs, dissolving crusty white buildup so your shower runs like new. CLR cuts through hard water buildup and helps keep your washer running clean. CLR also earned the EPA's Safer Choice seal, so it's safer for your family. Trust the power of the CLR family and trust your clean to CLR. CLR is available at these fine retailers.
Choose excitement. Choose action.
Choose Hollywood Casinos and you've already won. 2 Chicagoland locations with more of the games you want, more of the generous rewards you deserve, and celebrations that shine all night. That's the kind of star power that can take you places. Hollywood Casino, Aurora, and Joliet. There's no place like Hollywood.
Through our partnership with the Blackhawks, Make-A-Wish was called to bring a few children to the game that are battling cancer. When it kind of accumulates to this big night, Hockey Fights Cancer, this just allows everyone to take a step back from the everyday grind. And this is a way for all of them to do something really fun to kind of aid in that emotional and physical healing that they really need.
For 13 seasons, I played for the Bears. But this year, I'm ready to shake up the game in a whole new way with my own show. Watch The Hard Count, presented by Restore, Thursdays at 10:30 on CSN Chicago.
Number 54 stars on CSN. All Bears, all the time.
Welcome back. While Corey Kluber dominated Cubs hitters, Roberto Perez delivered a pair of big blows. He hit a solo shot off John Lester in the 4th and then followed that up with a 3-run blast off Hector Rondon in the 9th as the Indians beat the Cubs 6-0. Yeah, we said it a few times in Game 1.
This time of year, every game means so much, and, you know, you can take an offer and you don't see guys coming off the field, you know, they're just, you know, wins are so important right now, and one swing can swing a game. I think everybody knows that now.
For me, it means a lot. You know, I've come a long ways. You know, I'm just playing with a lot of confidence right now. I'm not trying to do too much at the plate. Just trying to control my emotions. First World Series experience, and just trying to go up there and compete.
Perez became just the 5th catcher in Major League history to homer twice in a World Series game. The last to do it was Gary Carter back in 1986.
You like it? You think Cleveland's cool? I mean, I never heard anybody say, I'm going to Cleveland on vacation. I mean, what's so good about Cleveland?
Yeah, we all remember that. Immediately next door to Game 1 of the World Series was opening night for the NBA and the Cavaliers. The defending champions raising the banner. They were hosting former Bulls stars Derrick Rose and Joakim Noah. So you can just tell Joakim happy to be back there with his Knicks.
I don't think it's ironic. I mean, you know, congratulations to Cleveland. You know, even though it's not a vacation spot, you guys got a championship, so well deserved.
Before the game, Noah's still trolling Cavs fans. Here's a picture of him still shooting free throws as the Cavs are trying to hold their ring ceremony. He obviously had no interest in the champs' pregame celebration party. The Cavs opening up the NBA season, and you know, I don't know who Cleveland fans were watching. There's Derrick Rose. Noah hands it off to Rose, cuts right down the paint for his first bucket as a New York Knick. And then with 4 minutes to go before the half, Rose, keeping the Knicks in it, takes it down the court, drives straight to the rim. That ties it at 41. Rose had 17 points, while Noah didn't score but hauled down 6 rebounds. Then LeBron took over. Cavs with some nice ball movement. LeBron underneath, the massive dunk, and then next possession, Cavs get the steal. LeBron soars in for the jam again. James finishes with a triple-double, the first on opening night in the NBA since Jason Kidd did it with the New Jersey Nets in 2006. Cavs run away with it 117. 88 is your final. Well, the Bulls will tip off the season Thursday night at the United Center against the Celtics. First-round pick Denzel Valentine expected to be available. The former Michigan State Spartan went through a full practice Tuesday for the first time since missing most of the preseason with a left ankle sprain. And the one position where there was a question as to who would start has now been answered. Fred Hoiberg announced that Taj Gibson will start at the 4 position, joining Rajon Rondo, Dwayne Wade, Jimmy Butler, and Robin Lopez on the floor. Gibson was battling Nico Mirotic, who will once again come off the bench for the Bulls. Well, after missing the last 5 games, Jay Cutler will be back under center Monday night when the Bears host the Vikings at Soldier Field. As he met with the media Tuesday, several questions were left unanswered, including whether he was assured he'd get his job back once healthy.
I didn't really get into it. Didn't want to. I mean, didn't concern me. I wasn't ready to play. My thumb wasn't healed. The doctors weren't going to let me go. Training staff wasn't going to let me go. So. It was, didn't really bother me at that point. Brian went in there and did a great job. My discussions with everybody that I have relations with in here were positive, and whenever I was ready to go, I'd be ready to go. So there was never any discussion regarding that with me.
Do you feel like you still have John's support?
He doesn't have a choice, I guess, at this point. I mean, Brian's out, so I got to go. I've had good conversations with Foxy this week, last week, the week before. There's never been any strain in our relationship. Both very open and honest, and we're on the same page. We just want to win football games.
We'll see if they can do that Monday night. Kyle Schwarber just missed going deep in Game 1, but made World Series history regardless. Coming up, our Luke Stuckmeyer has more from his postseason debut.
We asked people to write down the things they love to do most on these balloons.
Travel with my daughter.
Roller derby?
Now, give up half of them.
Do I have to?
This is the tough financial choice we could face when we retire. But if we start saving even just 1% more of our annual income, we could keep doing all the things we love.
Prudential, bring your challenges.
Now playing on DirecTV Cinema.
Some believe that the first mutant was born thousands of years ago, and he's going to rise again.
X-Men Apocalypse is the biggest, wildest X-Men yet.
Let's go to war.
It's all of us against a god.
You're not students anymore. You're X-Men.
X-Men Apocalypse. Movies start at Channel 125.
This is important news for women who were administered chemotherapy intravenously for breast cancer and then suffered permanent hair loss. Some women administered the breast cancer chemotherapy drug Taxotere have suffered from permanent hair loss on scalp, eyebrows, and eyelashes. If you suffered permanent hair loss after chemotherapy for breast cancer, call the law offices of Davis & Crump right now to find out if you are eligible for a cash award and medical expenses. Call now. Operators are standing by.
Now we got plenty pride and passion. Yeah, we got many styles and fashions. Michigan to Austin, every part has events to offer, and the fireworks are off and spark. Yeah, best decision I ever made was coming here.
Standing on your big shoulders, riding you nothing but love for you, stay here forever.
One into right, back at the track. It is off the wall. Welcome back, Kyle Schwarber with a 2-out double. Unbelievable.
It was a game of inches for Kyle Schwarber, who just missed going deep in his first action since the second game of the season. But he did make history, becoming the first position player to get a hit in the World Series, but not the regular season.
It was a good day overall for me personally, but obviously we want the outcome to be on our side, but definitely a positive day for me at the plate. Nerves, yeah. They were there. After that first spat, everything was slowed down, so it was good to get the first spat out of the way.
Chris Bryant said you're inhuman. It was spectacular.
I mean, there was a lot of hard work that went into it, and like I said, I was just grateful for the opportunity to try to come back and do this, and now I'm here. I don't got anything to lose. We're just going to throw it on the line.
What was the most difficult part of today for you?
Most difficult part of the day?
Right now.
Yeah, right now. No, I would probably say this. I haven't been in the game in so long, so now you have to learn how to prep and everything all over again. And at some point I might have felt a little rushed, just to try to get out there. But overall, good day.
You faced the two toughest pitchers just about in the American League the first time out, and you look like you've been playing for a while. Does that give you a lot of support feeling going forward here?
Yeah, it gave me definitely a lot of confidence. Those guys are two premier arms, and to feel comfortable at the plate was definitely a plus for me.
Running around first on that double, did you think about the knee at all?
No. No question. No doubts on my knee.
How about the read on the fly ball when you went off second? What was that?
There was a little miscommunication there. There was a little miscommunication between me and Javi, but thankfully it worked out.
Javi and some of the other players said that you being in the lineup is a difference maker just by being there. They have to pitch everybody differently and tougher. It's quite a compliment. I'm sure it makes you feel pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just going to do what I do at the plate. And, the guys around me, too, make it hard for these guys to pitch. Everyone. This lineup's tough. And, Kluber was really good today. And then Miller got his way out of the jam. So, we're going to find a way tomorrow, and look forward to going all out tomorrow.
Do you have to watch our video because you haven't seen these pitchers that you're going to be facing?
Oh, yeah, definitely. I mean, I watch a lot of video. I mean, had a little history with Kluber before. I faced him last year, but, Miller was a first for me. And, but overall, you just got to do your homework and, make sure that you're confident going into the game.
All right, the Cubs send Jake Arrieta to the mound tonight in Game 2. One important note, the start time of that game has been moved to 6 p.m. Chicago time as rain is expected in Cleveland later in the evening, so they're trying to get it in. Arrieta will face Trevor Bauer of the Indians. Arrieta is 0-1 this postseason with an ERA just under 5, but he can't wait to get out there on the biggest stage in baseball.
It's why you play the whole season, to hopefully be in this position to be one of the last two teams standing with an opportunity to win a World Series for your organization, your city, for your team, friends and family. So it means a ton. There's only 2 of 30 even get these opportunities, and not many players. There's some players that go their whole career without even being able to get to the postseason. So. We're all very fortunate, but we worked extremely hard to get to this point, and now we're in a spot where, we want to enjoy it as much as we can. We've worked extremely hard, and now it's time to go out there, have some fun, and try and win 4 ball games.
Time now for our Plays of the Day, presented by Lexus number 3. Let's head north to Toronto, Leafs and Lightning. Peter Holland snaps a wrister off the mask of Ben Bishop, and Bishop goes down immediately. Bishop makes quite the save and loses a few teeth in the process. Ow. He stays in the game, though. That's what hockey players do. We stay in Toronto for number 2. Leafs goalie Frederick Anderson did things a little less painfully. Check out the stick save on Victor Hedman. Anderson gets the paddle out, stuffs Hedman. Bolts would win 7-3. And our top play comes from Cleveland, but the hardwood, not the dime, and LeBron goes up and gets the alley-oop from Kyrie Irving. LeBron had himself a night as the Cavs beat Derrick Rose, Joakim Noah, and the Knicks. Here's a look at what's on CSN today. Kick things off at 4 on Bears Huddle. Because of the Cubs game getting moved up an hour, Cubs Postseason Live will now start at 5, leading up to first pitch at 6 o'clock. Sports Talk Live comes your way at 6. SportsNet Central next on deck at 6:30. After the final out, flip on over for complete postgame coverage from Cleveland. That's followed, of course, as always, by SportsNet Central. Thanks for joining us for SportsNet Central, presented by CLR. And for all your sports news 24/7, stay logged on to csnchicago.com. Follow us here at CSN. I'm Kip Lewis. Have a great day.